I am creating a video response to your video why some private regulation works. And I think this was a pretty good video that you made. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I don't think we need any regulation. I don't think we need any government. I think that your arguments were a little all over the place. There wasn't sort of a solid, logical, order. Some of your reasoning was circular, but overall, I think you presented your argument with intellectual honesty, and you raised a lot of good points, a lot of stuff I haven't talked about or considered. So I think it was a good video, despite the fact that I disagree with you entirely. I think you're wrong about everything. So you go into some points here. You say that with medicine, it's very tough to prove malpractice. It's very easy to scam. You go on to say that alternative medicine is nonsense. And these things may or may not be true. I'm inclined to think they are. I don't think you have a big problem with doctors scamming people. I don't think that the world is such a callous place that people that spend their whole life trying to heal people are going to go around and like the mechanic that pretends there's something wrong so they can just bill you. And I think that a lot of these scams exist because they're billing the government or insurance companies, people that can pay, or organizations that can pay millions of dollars without even asking a question because it's so commonplace. Whereas if we had a free market system of medicine without any government intervention, yes, there'd still be insurance companies most likely for catastrophic care, but a lot of it would be dealt with just the doctor and the patient. And so I think a lot of these problems might be systemic. And I don't think these are really great arguments for why there's need for regulation either. I don't necessarily see how it follows. So you say that people die waiting for drugs from the FDA, and this is sad, but there's no way we can predict it. Well, there's no way maybe the FDA can predict it. There might have been a way that these people could have predicted it. They could have said, oh, I'm dying, oh, there's this new treatment, I'll try it. Give it a shot, I'm going to die anyway, so might as well try it. Even if the government doesn't think it's safe for me, well, this disease I'm dying from isn't safe for me. And, it can take a decade for a drug to get approved in the meantime. And also this slows down the development of this drug, right? So who knows, how many millions have died because the government's restricting medicine because, this government agency says we're not, with the help of doctors, able to make our own decisions about our health. And you're right that people aren't well enough to make their own decisions on medicine by themselves. I'm not a doctor, but that's why we have doctors. So you go to them and you get the advice, what should I do? The doctor can help guide you there. And if somebody wants to take a drug that isn't going to help them, whatever. It's their body. Who cares, right? People want to get high, whatever. It's their body. It's not yours. They're not harming anybody. We don't need the government to make sure that we're all safe and secure all the time. We don't need Big Brother to tie our shoelaces for us, And if there's some idiot that's going to ingest something that's completely bad for them, well, how is the government going to prevent that from happening, right? People ingest drugs that are illegal for them to ingest all the time. So you say the FDA needs reform. I think it needs to be abolished. You say that regulations on who can become a doctor helps to keep out quacks. Well, it also helps to limit the supply of doctors, driving up the cost, driving up the price, right? demand stays the same, supply goes down. You know, in the United States today, there's fewer medical schools than there were 100 years ago. You think the American Medical Association has anything to do with that? I mean, it's a cartel on doctors. Well, do we really want to cartelize the supply of medicine? Is that such a great idea? So, you know, yes, maybe it keeps out some quacks. It also keeps out people that learned how to doctor in another country, right? It keeps out, you know, nurses that have spent 30 years in hospitals treating people. It keeps them from saying, you know, they're doctors. Well, they probably know enough to handle a lot of the things that a GP can handle, right? You know, yeah, they might not be able to do open heart surgery, but, you know, if we let these people take over a lot of the roles of doctors, or, you know, as this would result naturally on the free market, you know, maybe it'd be easier to get medicine to more people, and we wouldn't have, you know, a lot of these problems. Maybe the cost would be a lot different. And you know, you say that auto repair is not regulated, and this is a pretty good point against you, because it's very easy to scam with auto repair. Or maybe that's your argument, then, because so maybe that's a good argument for you, right? Auto repair is not regulated, and you know, everyone thinks that mechanics are scamming all the time. I don't know anything about auto repair. So let's just, you know, erase that last 12 seconds there. So you say that regulations can reduce court cases and lawsuits, and then you make the argument that America is the least regulated country in the West. And, you know, I'd really like to see what part of your ass you're pulling that quote out of. That sounded kind of gay there. No homo. But, I mean, you know, clearly you just made this up. But I'd love to see, you know, some statistics, or I'd love to see your citation for that quote. Because as far as I know, you know, America is heavily regulated. There's so many government agencies that regulate, and, you know, so many laws, and so I think there's so many lawsuits in America because there's so much wealth, and because the legal system allows for this. You get so many lawyers. I don't think it's really because there's not very many regulations. And then you make the argument, and this is great, about how about a progressive regulation system. But if you go back in time to the progressive era, and that Roosevelt, not the cripple, Theodore, well, you look at the impetus behind the progressive era, and it was all large corporations lobbying for privilege, you know, under the guise, or with the do-gooders as their front. So why don't we have a progressive regulation system? Because the whole point was to attack small business interests, right? That's where it came from. That's what it's been used for the entire time it's been around. It's a tool of the powerful to prevent market competition. So, I mean, a progressive regulation system would defeat the whole point, right? So how about no regulation? That's much better. Anyway, I wish I could present a better argument here. I hope I touched on all the points, and, you know, obviously my own argument's not the greatest. I'm not the best communicator of libertarian ideas. You know, the answers are out there if you're actually interested, right? Just read Mises.org. But hopefully we've made some progress here, and please do, you know, share any comments, criticisms, feedback. Thank you for your video. I think it was thoughtful, intellectually honest, and pretty good overall, albeit a bit confused, maybe not ordered the best, not the logical the best, but hey, so is mine, right? So yeah, hopefully you know, you watch this, and look forward to hearing from you. Hopefully, you know, if you don't make a response, you think about what I said and maybe consider the libertarian point of view, and have a great day.